Welcome to another episode of No Ordinary Woman, where we recognise and celebrate women of all ages and all stages. I'm Fiona Briffa, and today I've got Belinda Beardmore joining me. Hi, Belinda.
Hi everyone, how are you?
But the reason I've got Belinda on is because she's got quite an inspiring story, which I absolutely love. And today is all about changing careers, which Belinda did when she was almost 50 years old. Belinda, tell us what prompted that. Where did you go from and where did you go to?
Yeah, so I think it's probably a combination of lots of things. Had a lot of changes in my life, lost some family members. It sort of gives you a bit of a reality check of what you want to be and what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I'd gone through a couple of stages where I'd changed jobs in a customer service 9 to 5 sort of corporate environment 3 or 4 times, where I'd actually moved from telecom Telstra to a solar company, New Energy, where I met you, and then on to golfing, which I have no idea why, because I don't even like golf. That's bizarre. Where I just thought I needed to, I guess, reinvent myself.
Yeah.
So I've always been fascinated and loved old people.
Yeah.
Which is a bit weird in a way.
No.
But so I decided to do the carer training.
Yes.
And I've not looked back. I love it. I just find I don't even find like I actually have a job. It's more about being social and being paid for it. And I work in an area of aged care where with dementia and a lot of behaviours.
Yeah.
So it's really high end, which is sad and happy in a lot of ways. But I just love it.
Yeah.
And in a way, it is another form of customer service.
Yes.
I just love it, and I don't regret my decision at all. It was a big jump.
Yeah.
Big faith, because I had to go back into that classroom environment when, at age 50, you think, oh my God, I've got to go back to pencil and assignments and assessments and tests and all that sort of thing. And in my class was a different range of age women. There wasn't any men, which was a shame. But it was just great. We all supported one another. We all had different stories and reasons for doing it. But I love it. Absolutely love it.
That's awesome. And I think that a lot of people resist going through that change because there are so many different things that can scare us and hold us back when it comes to changing careers. What are some of the things that you had to think about and weigh up and plan and prepare for? Like, obviously, if you were going back to study, there was like a household income. And what obstacles did you have to process first?
It was actually, that was probably the financial. I mean, I've got a very supportive husband and family, so I'm really blessed like that.
Yeah.
And my husband, Paul, just said to me, go for it. If that's what you want to do, just do it. We'll manage. But the financial side, because you've got to remember that you're removing one wage out of a dual income, family, if you like. But that was probably the hardest thing.
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't even hesitate. So, and like I said, I had that support from a great husband. So,
wow. It really does make a difference. I know I spoke to the last lady I spoke to, Shan from Big Oz Explorers, was really highlighting the importance of having a supportive husband when you want to do what you need to do in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
you're a team. So
yeah, true. Yeah. It makes a massive difference. So personally, when you decide to do this, and you've got to think about, obviously everyone around you, like household income and supporting each other. Now, I know with myself that when I'm about to try something new, I have to battle the demons of fear and self-doubt and go through all these conversations in my head. Can I do it? Did you have to go through anything like that, or did you feel really confident?
It was probably more, like you say, a fear, and also, can I do it? I mean, it's been so long. We've become a very computer orientated world now, where we were still doing pen and paper and books and all that sort of thing, which was great. because I was familiar with that. So, but yeah, I just it's more a case of, you know, memory as well.
Yeah.
You know, at our age, I mean, I'm not saying I've got short-term memory loss or anything like that, but you just think, what are you going to retain?
Yes.
And what are you not going to retain? So,
Yeah.
and I was fine. So, and I've since jumped into study again in the last 4 months. So I've extended my personal care role now into, because I do lifestyle as well, which is the activity side of things of aged care.
Yeah.
So all those fun things.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going through training at the moment with a lot of different women of different ages and a male, which is fantastic, because in aged care, like schools, males aren't really, because of the people just see males, there's a stigma behind that whole thing with males in the industry and vulnerable people, which is really, really sad.
That's a shame.
It is. It's a real shame. But yeah, we have a lot of fun. We do it on Zoom.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just great. So I'm finding that whole, I keep going with since doing that course, I find myself wanting to do more, read more, learn more, doing a lot of online training about dementia, finding out about all that, you know, all those medical to help me in my job.
Yeah, right. So it's just now you're on a lifelong journey, learning journey, not learning.
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 I know what you mean.
And I know what you mean about the memory too, because at a certain age, it does start getting a little foggy. And, you know, when you're going through some of those hormone changes, let's call a spade, and the brain literally changes. It goes a bit foggy. So there is a bit of a fear of the energy levels and the concentration. And how did you manage your well-being and energy and you know, just your mindset throughout the learning and the change?
Yeah, so probably the biggest thing for I'm not normally someone that suffers any mental health problems, thank goodness. However, since being menopausal, let's call a spade, I do suffer a little bit of anxiety at times, which I never ever thought I would. And wow, it can be quite overwhelming at times. But I have these little things here.
They're so active too. Have a look at them.
Which are my actual mental health. I sometimes think that they don't actually live with me. I live with them.
Yep.
But that's what I do. If I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, I actually get out and go for a walk with them, or go and catch up with a group of friends that have got dogs as well. Awesome. So yeah, that's how my coping mechanism is the dogs and walking and getting out in the great outdoors. I love being outside.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think it does play a massive part. And just for anybody watching, I'm going to do a whole segment on menopause and some of the things that happen that we don't realize is going to happen until it happens, and also get some health experts to come in and chat about that. So stand by for that. It'll be just give us a bit more insight for women our age, and even younger women, to be honest, to know before you get there, I think is really valuable. If somebody gives you a little bit of insight, you don't start stressing out about the onset of the symptoms when they come. So that will be for another day. But back to Belinda. So when you did change careers, I got so excited, because I'm a massive advocate for you're never too old to become what you might have been or what you want to be. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you, is this something that you have always wanted to do, do you think, on some level, or is it just a new revelation and a new interest to go into aged care?
I think it's probably a new revelation. I mean, if you asked me the 30-year-old Belinda, would she be a carer of aged people with all that goes with that? And I don't need to explain that, and behaviours and everything, I would have told you were mad.
Yeah. Wow.
But as I got older, I think I changed a bit, because I then became volunteering with Dog Rescue and things like that. I started, I don't know, I became very community minded. And a bit more people focused, I think, even though I've always been in a sales and customer service role. I just think, I don't know why I picked that career. like I said, I think I find the ageing population fascinating.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've got lots of stories to tell. Can learn a lot from them.
Yes.
Part of my decision making going forward, I mean, I'm just about to pack up and move to Queensland. If you asked the 30-year-old Belinda if she would ever do that, I would tell you were crazy as well. So,
Really? Yeah.
yeah, I just think as you get older, you tend to you tend to get to not even a fork, you tend to veer off in another direction. You have you have an idea of where you're going.
Yeah.
You tend to veer off in another direction. So, yeah, my husband said to me a while ago that he'd like to be retired at 55, and I sort of said, yeah, right, good luck with that. But, I mean, technically, he'll be 55 next year and be semi-retired. So, it's certainly a step forward that the aging population has probably taught me. So, you see a lot of, I see a lot of my residents with some regret, things that they didn't do, things they've missed out on, probably teaches you to, and having death of family members and things like that, probably makes you get a bit of a wriggle on.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, and not take everything for granted. Like if you feel like you want to do something, just do it. Have a go.
Yeah.
If you fail, you just get up and dust yourself off. If you and just keep going. So yeah.
I love that. And just in what you've said there are so many things to highlight. And one is that when you get to a certain age, and there are different age stages that we go through, and whether or not you are at a stage or at a crossroads in your life where you need a change in career, there are two different reasons for changing career, main ones. And that is that one, you've just realized what you're doing doesn't serve you anymore, or it is something that you have always been passionate about that you never got a chance to do, and you think, stuff it, I'm just going to go out and do this. Just as an example of that side of it was my own mum had always wanted to be a hairdresser when she was young. And then she went through but her parents discouraged it, because back in those days it was only barbers, and it's like girls don't work in those kind of shops. And she at basically the same age as you, Belinda, when you did your course, she went back and did a hairdressing course just to tick that off her bucket list. So she's nearly 50 and she did that. So it's chasing your dreams. And like you said, Belinda, when things happen around you to family and you realize that life is short, and you think, what's the worst thing that can happen? Yep, I can fail, but if I don't try, I'll definitely not get there. And when you're dealing with people in aged care that are telling you about their regrets, if you think about your life, I always think, what do you want to be reflecting back on when you're lying in your aged care facility? Do you want to look back on all the awesome things you did and the fears and obstacles you overcame? Or do you want to look back and go, oh, I wish I had done that?
Yeah,
I wish
that's exactly right. And that's probably my way of thinking now.
Yeah.
You don't want to, as you say, you don't want to die with any regret, or I should have, or I could have.
Yep.
You just got to have a go.
Yeah, and we've got enough regrets from the past, so let's make sure we set our intentions for the future to make sure we don't add to those. And I just think regrets are a waste of time, but there are certain things that it's more like we wish we had have done. But yeah, I just really, it takes, and for anyone watching, it is scary, it is challenging, it does take a lot of guts to do it. But like Belinda said, it is so worthwhile when you finally get there doing what you love. Now, Belinda, what would be, your advice for anyone thinking, I'm going to pursue something different or pursue my previous dreams?
Just have a go. I mean, you've really got nothing to lose. As I said, you might fail. You probably won't. You'll get, as long as you get something out of it.
Yeah.
Learning new things. You can never stop learning new things, I think. Yeah. I just say have a go. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. And I find that in our failures is where we take the biggest leaps forward, because we learn so much just in that. And like, there's that old saying, I can't remember who it is. I'll find out and I'll put a link down below, but it's, now I've just forgotten completely what I was going to say. who am I to try that, or who am I not to? Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, I'll move on because, but if I do remember it, I'll leave it in the comments below. But anyway, so I think that that's a really good inspiration for anybody thinking about doing something either different or pursuing a past passion that they just want to see what would happen. But also, Belinda, I wanted to highlight those two little puppos, or three little puppos. She's like, Belinda's got this dog blanket wrapped around her at the moment, that you do your Pug Rescue. Can you please tell us a little bit about that? Because I'd love to just take this opportunity to raise some awareness.
Yep, so I am blessed to be part of an awesome team of girls right around Australia. We're called Pug SOS. It was founded by a breeder who breeds pugs, and she was worried about what was actually happening to pugs in puppy farms, in backyard breeding facilities, things like that. So it's protecting the breed, I guess you could say. So yeah, so we get calls from people who want to surrender their dogs. We get them from pounds. We get them out of puppy farm environments. We work in with the RSPCA, things like that, and we bring them in. They go into foster, and we honestly, now the words are escaping me.
That's what we were talking about earlier, folks. Menopause. I call them brain farts.
I know. We rehabilitate them both physically and mentally. So any vet work they need done, they get done. And mentally, we put them in a family environment, and then we send them out to beautiful homes. And probably the hardest thing is when they come in. It can be quite heartbreaking in some of the conditions they come in, but when they leave, I often have a bit of a cry when they leave, but it's happy tears, it's not sad tears. So so it's just really lovely to give families a new beautiful family member. Adopting a dog can be so rewarding, so grateful. It's just wonderful. So,
and how many do you have with you? I can see.
I actually have, I have 5 dogs. Now, let me tell you, that's not because of me. That's because of my husband, because he's such a softie. So this is my oldest pug. This is Lily. So she looks a bit. She goes, "Why don't you just wake me up, Mum?"
Yeah, like rude.
She was the reason I found the rescue. So she's my little old puppy farm girl. She's probably pushing around 12 or 13. We don't actually know because she's microchipped. But I've had her for 9 years. So she's we call her Lily Vuitton because she can throw a tantrum when she doesn't get her own way. Isn't that right, Lil?
Spoiled.
I know.
Oh, that is so adorable. So I'll also leave a link to Pug SOS below as well if anybody's interested in either adopting or contributing to that cause. But just going back to you and your beautiful aged care people, what would you say is the biggest highlight of working in that industry?
Probably making a difference in their day. Only if it's only for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, an hour, it's making a difference. Yeah. And seeing smiles on their faces, goofing around with them, 85-year-old men with dementia, having a dance with them to the Bee Gees, all that sort of thing, just making a difference.
Yeah.
So,
and you just go home feeling that sense of satisfaction, even though I imagine it would be very hard work, it would be very rewarding.
Absolutely, it is. Very much.
Do you have any regrets at all?
No, none at all. Not even one.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I just thank you so much for sharing that story. I think I would love to come down there and interview some of those on our No Ordinary Woman channel. I'm sure you have some amazing women in there that could have a No Ordinary Woman story to share.
Absolutely. I will follow that up for you, definitely.
Yeah, that would be amazing because like you said, older people have so many amazing stories and can be so inspirational and usually jaw-dropping stories. I'm having trouble speaking today. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. Let's bring some of those stories to you as well. But thank you so much, Belinda, for joining us today.
Not a worry at all.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And for anyone watching who is considering changing careers or trying something new, it doesn't even have to be a career change. If you're thinking about volunteering in a particular area, if it's something that you're really passionate about, I highly encourage you to pursue it, because it is something that will set your heart on fire. And our spirits are literally have a built-in passion for particular things so that we can contribute in one way or another in that area. So follow it up, and don't be scared to give it a go. What's the worst thing that could happen? So I thank you everyone for watching this episode of No Ordinary Woman, and Belinda for sharing your No Ordinary Woman story with us.
Oh,
and if you liked this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And thank you so much for joining us, Belinda.
no worries. Mwah.
Mwah. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.
See you.